Welcome back to the Backstop Built channel. Thank you for tuning in, guys. Today I have a very special guest. This is going to be a parent of one of the players I've worked with. This kid who I worked with was one of the very first to go through the full program. I hold him dear to my heart, and his mother was more than willing to hop on here and go through some questions and answers about her experience from a parent's point of view of watching her son go through the Backstop Built full catchers training program. We have grown a great relationship, both me and this player and his mother, as they are awesome. They're some of my favorite people I've worked with to this day, and I am super excited to introduce her. But without further ado, here is Kristen.
Hi, I'm Kristen Goodman. I am Johnny Goodman's mom. I came across Brock through Instagram. I was looking for a local private coach. My son was really struggling. He was a young catcher. He kind of got thrown behind the plate, not really knowing what to do. And I just kind of got tired of not knowing how to help my kid struggle. So through Instagram, through the local ads, local people, I came across Brock. At the time, I thought he might be local in the Arizona market. And when I started clicking on his page, I realized it was an online training, and that dove me into what is the world of online training and how on earth can that help my kid. So I connected with Brock and asked some questions like a parent could do, wondering, how is this just a money grab? How do you work long distance with a kid through the phone? I was very skeptical of how does this work? And then because I'm a protective mom, how on earth is this guy going to help my son through the phone? So I had a lot of hesitant questions. Brock was great. It wasn't like a general bot question. He was right there at answering my concerns, and I was so happy to find some answers right away with Brock. I knew within minutes Brock was going to be our guy.
I appreciate you saying that because, now in hindsight, going through the relationship we're able to build, Johnny and I and everything, it's so cool, and I'm so blessed you guys took that chance. So yeah, you guys came in at a time before there was a lot of testimonials while we were building a lot of stuff out. So yes, you definitely did kind of take that chance, which was awesome. But let's kind of talk about Johnny a little bit because I want to deep dive into just his story, where he was before joining Backstop Built, and right as you guys got in the program, age, grade. For anyone who didn't catch that, they are in Mesa, Arizona. So I actually lived in Arizona, and then right as I moved back to where I'm from in Colorado, that's when Kristen reached out. So she was getting a little bit of the like, hey, you are a catching guy out here, but I actually ended up moving away, and I had a remote program built. So she got in, and yeah, let's just kind of talk about where he was before working with us.
Johnny had played Little League in a small little town, just rec league. He loved it, loved baseball, loved everything about it. I got him into his first club team in fifth grade, and it was way out of our comfort zone. I was not raised in baseball. I don't know how to play it. I didn't know what to do. And we had some good coaches. They let him play a lot of different positions. He was great in the outfield. It was a position that came natural to him because he threw hard. He was very athletic. He threw hard. So the next season happened, and we lost our catcher on the team, and they threw Johnny back there as a catcher, really because he had a strong arm. But this is at like age 11, 12, when all the kids are different heights, different speeds, and he didn't know at all what to do behind the plate. So I just remember his first game, the gear barely fit him. I was screaming like, put your gear up. And I walked away from that game thinking, this is a disaster. I will never let him play that position again. But the excitement on Johnny's face from that game, they lost horribly. He had so much fun behind the dish catching. He just thought, he told all of his siblings when he got home that he got to be the catcher. He told his dad, I get to be the catcher. Like, he just said it so many times that I saw right away his passion, and I knew I was in trouble because we had no idea what we were doing, and he did not look good back there.
Yeah, and it's like such a dangerous position too. Like a parent can sniff that out from a mile away, like, oh my gosh, and they're just throwing back there. But it's so funny because the position chooses you. Like it for sure chooses you. It's the way I became a catcher. The coach is like, we need a guy. I just so happened to be like benched that day as a kid, and I'm like, I'll do it ever since. So I love that. I love how he went back there. I love how he loved it. Um, so yeah, how old and what grade was he by the time he got to me? He was just before his freshman year, right?
So Johnny was 14 when he met Brock. We had a very long conversation on the phone. I had lots of questions, and Johnny was just eager to talk to a catcher who has really been behind the plate. So Johnny was eager to talk to Brock. Brock answered my questions about the program, and for a 14-year-old to start a program and commit showed me how important catching was.
And I remember on the call, like Johnny showed a lot of maturity, so I was just like, yeah, he could definitely go through this. And I think the biggest thing I remember was you guys were just looking for answers to his problems behind the dish. Like I feel like you as a mom did a great job of like, no, we are trying to find the best solution. We have tried many things. And at the time you took a chance on something that's new. Like what I had was I had worked with many kids before, but overall that training structure is still relatively new. So I mean I guess what was he struggling with as a catcher from your mom's perspective, maybe mentally, maybe confidence wise, since he started catching all the way to 14 years old to where you're like, no, we need a better training structure for his catching specific skills.
Specifically, it was 3 to 5 different coaches yelling and barking between each pitch what to do this, do that. It was a lot of struggle to listen and learn when you had 10 voices coming at you and yelling at you. Brock's program said, Johnny, you need to work on this, and showed him slowly how to do it. We learned the repetition and the visual is where Johnny's skills went from he's a kid back there just catching the ball to he's leading the team, he's driving his pitcher, he's helping with this game. And his skills went from, yes, I can catch a ball and I can throw a ball, to I am a catcher. I'm going to work with my team. I'm going to own this position. And for very specific situations, it was holding the glove out too far, batter interference, where to sit behind the plate on different pitches, how to get comfortable with an umpire leaning on you was a very specific situation where we were like, Brock, what do we do? Another very specific one is what do you tell a pitcher when you pause a game? How do you control the game? Because you've got a ton of coaches from the sideline screaming and yelling, but then they call time and they tell you to go, go help. How do you help? What do you do? But the most important first piece of advice that Brock ever gave Johnny that was so crucial was use your chest plate.
Yeah. He's got the gear, you got to use it.
Yes.
It's the number one thing, and it's only covering so much of our body. You got to get used to that. So,
For a 14-year-old kid to trust a catcher, Johnny trusted his gear when his catching coach said, trust your gear, that's what it's for. It all became intertwined in the position because he felt comfortable in it. And that was a game changer. He felt confident running behind that plate.
I love how Johnny's like a kid who picks things up pretty quick. So like when I give him something and he applies it, it's like I would see that pay off in game pretty quickly. I'm like, geez, man, that's awesome. So yeah, that's his superpower. But I mean, let's get real here because there's probably a parent watching this who's like, okay, well, our son's different. He's in a different situation. We're worried about him. What were you worried about for your son before joining the program that made you seek out to every single catching option out there?
His passion started dying down for the position. He didn't care to be put back there. It was more of a chore in his mind. I saw the passion drain from it, and that's when I knew I wasn't seeking the right help for this kid. We had taken him to some private coaches, and they just hounded and harped on what to do better. and he still didn't feel like he was doing good. When I reached out to Brock explained how you design and build yourself as a catcher, and he can help guide him little by little, strengthen him behind the plate. And for the first time ever, I heard a coach care about the kid that was behind the plate instead of caring about the kid on the mound. And that struck me in the heart. I thought, this guy is cheering on my kid, watching out for my kid. And that is what really, really made me commit to saying yes to the program, is I saw a guy give his full energy, heart, and protection to my kid who was struggling behind the plate emotionally, but also physically. His skill sets weren't the same as other kids. He wasn't as strong of a player that he used to be. And I knew we could fix that with some coaching, but I also needed someone who came into my son's life and put the passion back into it, the commitment back into it, and the skill sets into it. And that's what this whole program gave us.
I appreciate that because it's so cool to hear your guys' perspective, because from my perspective of coach, I was blessed to have such an amazing kid fall into my lap and want to work with me, with a mom who's willing to make it happen, who did everything I told him to and got a great result. And I'm like, wow, that's on him. I should be thanking him. So I appreciate you guys being happy with it too. But yeah, I think let's kind of go into some of the skepticism and hesitations, because you talked about that. And more specifically, let's go into the training you had for Johnny before me. So I know he was like kind of doing some random drills on his own. Talk about the coaches that you invested in and their training structure. And then once you saw what I had, just some of that skepticism, and feel free to be as honest as you want. You will not offend me about your thoughts before getting in.
We had done some group coaching of just catchers. It'd be like 10 guys in a small room. The ages were so different. Their skill sets were so very different. I felt like Johnny just got a good workout in that hour that I paid for. He didn't really get like one-on-one coaching. So we had tried that a few times. I had spent a lot of money on some individual one-on-one coaching that I walked away every hour thinking that was good. And when I would ask my son, he'd say, yeah, I don't remember what he told me. And so I would write it down, what I learned with virtual, and I didn't realize what a benefit this was. We can play back the videos. We can read through the notes. We can listen again what Brock said. So when my 14-year-old son says, I don't remember what the coach said, I could hit rewind. Let's do this again. Another takeaway was every time I dropped him off at practice, I thought he was practicing as a catcher, but no, he was just catching balls for his team. And I realized the 2 hours he was spending on the field had nothing to do with catching, and we needed to find something else outside of the normal practice of the team. So I just remember practice after practice thinking, we haven't worked on catching at all. Like, when are they going to work on it? And after a while, I realized we need to find some help.
Yeah, and that's the reality of it. Like, you're a parent, probably more than likely your son's playing club ball and you're paying all these dues, and they're like, yeah, it's a development program, it's a development club, and it feels like it's development for everyone but the catcher, right? And it's like, what's he doing? Like, okay, he's catching, tossing the ball to the coach for fungo and catching it,
Yep.
from everyone who's doing ground balls, but there's no like real specific work for what he needs. So that's about when you were looking at more training options, you came across me, and then you find out, okay, this guy's remote, he's not going to be in person. What was that skepticism and hesitation looking like?
I'm the type of person where I think, am I gonna get, fish oil? Am I gonna pay for something and it's not gonna be real? So when I looked into virtual options for training, I found that there's a lot of improvement in technology and a lot of people are working virtually. So that was my first step where I thought this is working for people. My second one was, how much time is invested in my kid? Is this a group call? Is this one-on-one? Because I was looking for one-on-one, and I found virtual training and one-on-one together. And that's what Brock brought that I couldn't find anywhere else. So that was interesting to me to see a coach give one-on-one attention with virtual help. And that's when I thought we're going to look into this. This is a lot more than I thought the program offered. He's going to get almost, it was like 20 times more one-on-one training than what I'd looked up before. So it really helped.
I'm so glad you guys enjoyed it. I truly built it to go against all the other training options out there. I mean, because catching is the hardest position in all of sports. It is very hard, and everyone's son gets thrown back there, and their kid likes it, but the coach never shows them what to do. Then they get yelled at least once, and there's like one defining moment where they're like, "I didn't know I was supposed to do that. No one showed me the position." Every coach just wants you back there. And then the training options for it to me are a joke. It's like find random drills on social media on your own, do group work at practice, invest in a one-on-one coach once a week and get nothing the other 6 days a week. It's so inconsistent. So I'm like, you know what? I am building something that I don't care if people call it remote. It's one-on-one training each day. It just so happens to be delivered through, all of our fancy apps and platforms that are online. But yeah, I'm glad you saw the value in it.
I have to say that the virtual one-on-one training, they do it in school where you can record a lesson and they can watch it so many times over and over and learn from it. And that is actually helping with Johnny, where he can take one of your feedbacks, replay it over and over, and incorporate it. Like he learns so much more after he walks away from a one-on-one with you because he can go back, remember, watch, visually learn it, listen to it. There, so it's not just one-on-one, it's one-on-one plus more, plus more, plus more. So when we take your program offline and we're in our home, we can use your platform all day long, as many times as we want. You don't get that kind of access with a one-on-one in-person coach. So I found that we got more from you because it was virtual.
That's awesome. I love hearing that. I love that you guys were able to take advantage. And you know what? I do say, like, hey, I'm going to try and show these kids as much as they need to know as possible, like almost too much. It's on them to apply it. And Johnny did such a good job, like physically doing it. You guys are in the Arizona heat in the summer, and he's sending me video just gassed. And I'm like, dude, this kid's grinding. I love it. So that's what it's all about. It was a pleasure to lead him. But you kind of segued perfect into my next question. I want to talk about just the experience inside the program, and you went over everything, pretty much just about how it's one-on-one coaching daily. So overall, would you say did the remote format surprise you? Would you say about how effective it was when you compare remote to in person?
I was shocked how much more we got because of the program. I expected 1 hour of training every day for 30 days, and what I got was 1 hour of video and then 2 hours of instruction and feedback and dialogue and supportive notes. And then I got a follow-up information, how to incorporate it. Johnny found a group of catching guys as a community that helped him answer questions. Johnny felt comfortable always reaching out on the platform and asking, what would you do in this situation? I found that the dividends of the program just kept, reapplying, reapplying, reapplying. Within 30 days, I saw a huge jump in his skill set. I saw a jump in his physical attributes, like his body was more limber, more flexible, doing drills every day, the way Brock like assigned him his drills every day, pushed him but not too far that it burned him out. And so every day Johnny was back at doing another practice drill, 15 minutes here, 30 minutes here. It just was so much better than I thought I was getting in just a virtual program. I can also say catchers get yelled at the whole game, and one coach wants it done one way and then an assistant coach yells at you another way, and you're getting bombarded on what to do and how to do, but no one slows the game down and walks you through the position and how to enforce a play, how to watch a runner. And Brock was great at saying, in this position, runner on first. I want you to sit in this position. You're looking out of the corner of your eye, that runner on first. How are you going to sit? And this is where you're comfortable. This is where your hand would go. Try this. So he got my kid mentally into the game, learning the process of being in the position. So when we were live and we were playing at a faster, quicker level, Johnny knew what to do. And those positional situations that Brock broke down for my son was not even part of the virtual platform. It was just Johnny working with Brock on the Back Built platform. And that was so great.
I
Yeah.
just get into that coaching mode, and I know how neglected catchers are. So I'm like, yeah, this is something you should know. So that's awesome. Let's kind of talk about the financial investment. You know what I mean? So obviously, what I do is not free for every single kid by any means, but I try and keep it comparable to in-person training, but deliver you 10 times the value. After seeing what you invested for the time he went through the program for an entire 6 months, do you feel like you got the value out of it that you were expecting, or more or less?
I got 100 times more than I ever expected out of using the platform and signing up with Brock. Using the platform, doing the drills, I thought I'd get 1 hour of training a day. I got a life skill. It was all day with Johnny. It was 10 times more than I ever thought you could even do with a coach. It was life changing. It elevated him to a whole new level of the game. Coaches would pause and stop me and ask, "What have you been doing with Johnny?" Like, it's noticeable. And we were only 2 weeks into the program before one of his coaches asked me, "What are you doing?" It's really noticeable. I got way more than I ever expected for support from my son, for positive, encouraging words. I got, which I didn't know would mean so much for a kid going through all of this teams, clubs, coaches, skill sets. It's hard on the kids. And in Backstop, gosh, with Brock, we got positive, encouraging, "You're doing great" videos. We also got tweaks. "Okay, you're doing good. I want to take you to the next level. You can do this" videos. We got a whole community on how to build my son as a better person. And honestly, the community that's come from this has just blessed Johnny's life. He has met catchers across the nation that cheer him on. They cheer each other on. They're catchers. They support each other. I just love the community that we got, not knowing what I was getting into. It's really been a great place for a teenage boy to go.
Absolutely. And that's a testament on you raising such a great kid and you doing everything you could to get him in the program. And Johnny as well, to his character. Because one thing I wanted to share for all you guys listening is I did a in-person event in Phoenix. So I pretty much rented a cage and did I did an event, you could call it kind of like a camp, but it was only for guys that I've worked with remotely through the Backstop Built program. We just got together and met in person. So it was like super exclusive. Just like 10 kids that I've been coaching remotely, being able to meet with them. And it was amazing. Johnny was there. He gelled with everyone as he does, like last type of kid I'm worried about. Um, but it was awesome. And to meet everyone in person and him be the same exact kid that I knew remotely was great. And yeah, I just thought it was amazing. It was so cool to meet the parents in person, especially you, Kristen. That was so cool, and chat about everything. And he's just a great kid. It really, really, that day hit me as a coach pretty tough because I'm like, wow, the impact I'm having is amazing. I have to steward that right. Such a blessing. And like these kids do look up to me and they do listen to what I'm saying. So I do appreciate it. But yeah, I mean, I love everything you said. I mean, that's kind of the last thing I wanted to get into is the results and transformation about where he's at in his career. I know last year he got the accolade of the Defensive Player of the Year on his team, right? Which was super cool. Um, and I mean, I guess from mom's perspective, what do you see in each one of his categories in catching that's been an improvement? And just his overall confidence that you are like, okay, yeah, that's definitely different than before.
I think the biggest one I've learned is as a teenage boy, he would get critiqued and yelled at by a coach. And he kind of got in the attitude of, "Yeah, I know. Okay," and kind of blew it off. He actually found confidence in a coach with Brock, where he listens to the world around him, but then he checks in with Brock and his confidant, and Brock guides him, and Johnny trusts what advice he's getting. Johnny trusts the direction that Brock gives him because he's been in that position before. What I didn't know would be such a big blessing is to have a coach lead my son through the hardships of this position in a positive way. That has been the biggest part of the program that I am so happy about. Johnny can hear tons of coaches, but he'll stop and check in with Brock. He'll take the advice and then he'll go on. And that has helped him grow as a player like tenfold. Just, okay, my coach told me this. He's yelling at me. I'll check in with Brock. Brock will say, hey, step onto the side, then throw, or come up before you throw. This is why he said that. And Johnny will listen, learn, and improve quickly. It's not, oh, my coach was yelling at me. These are the things he said. It's, okay, this is what my coach said. I'm going to check in with Brock. We're going to be good. So I get a quick change in Johnny's skill set fast.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So,
well, no, I mean, I think that's great stuff. I'd love to hear about where he's at with his skill sets, his confidence. I know he's going, into his sophomore year, spring in high school, and I can't wait to see the season he has. Because from my coach's perspective, like his skill sets all look so awesome. I was just telling you this before the call. Like I'm so proud of where he looks offensively, defensively, what I worked with him defensively. Just overall looks like a great confident player, super athletic back there. And he truly looks like he's backstop built, like he's built for it now, like officially. And I love it.
I can say that playing at this level, you cannot reach another tier of the game until you work hard in this position. And Brock works hard with Johnny, and it has shown. We're on a whole different playing field because of the work we've done with Brock on this program. It shocked me as a mom to be virtual and have such a rewarding experience. It was 10 times more than I ever could expect.
Well, that's one thing I want to do is, can you give advice to other parents who have made it this far and watched and are still maybe hesitant, maybe skeptical, feel like their son's on a lonely island, there's no way I can help him? What advice would you have to say to another parent watching this who has a son where yours used to be?
My recommendation is if he really wants to be a catcher, then invest in the catching education. Take some time to learn that this is a hard position and he needs an expert behind him helping him. This is the best program with an expert who's been down that path that you're going to get for your son. Don't question it. Know that your kid comes first, and Brock's going to make sure he comes first in this position. I wouldn't even hesitate. If I could go back, I would have pushed sign up right away than spending so much time looking for other options. I would have quickly found Brock, signed up, and got him going as fast as I could. If you are a parent and your kid wants to be a catcher, you need someone who is supporting your kid 100%, not just a team, not just an idea of a position. You need someone who individually is guiding your kid behind the plate. And that's what I got with Brock. And that's what you get when you sign up.
That is my guarantee. I will do as much as I can to help you on my end and give you my full effort. And it's so rewarding when I do that and the kid puts in the same exact effort like Johnny did. And that's why he was successful. I don't want to take any credit for what he was able to do, really. I mean, I just showed him what to do, gave him the evaluations, and I'm very proud of the work he's put in, and he maximizes time. And the investment that you as a mom did, like, I get it. Like, yeah, it's an investment, time, financially. And you're like, is this just another thing? And I just hope you're able to be like, oh, geez, okay, I'm glad it wasn't a bust.
I learned that if my kid was going to be successful, he needed to dive into catching, and we weren't going to get that playing on a team at practice. We needed to go off practice, off field, and go find an expert, and that's what we got. We got someone who's been there. We got someone who has played at different colleges, so he knows the routes and the struggles of college. We met someone who not only knew the position, but knew the ups and downs that the road is going to be. And my son trusted him. And also to every parent, the best thing I did was I signed up and then I stayed out of it. I didn't try to counter any advice. I didn't try to coach from the sideline. I would just encourage any parent, sign up, stay out of it because Brock's the expert on this. Just let your son dive into his training with Brock. And that is one of the best pieces of advice I could give to a parent. Sign up and then stay out of it.
Yeah. I appreciate that. That's awesome. Yeah, and that's exactly what you did and checked in when need to be, and it was a great dynamic. It was awesome. So
I would also say virtual learning is hard for a parent to learn, but the kid picks it up really quick.
absolutely. That is a good point because a lot of kids right now that come to me, like at some point they had to learn from their teacher virtually because of COVID. So like a lot
Yeah.
of kids are
Yeah.
just like straight up used to it. They're just like, "Oh yeah, I did this with my teacher." I have a bunch of kids that say that to me and I'm like, "Oh, cool. Okay." So
Yeah.
they're like pretty much like quit over explaining everything. I know how to do this. So I'm like, "All right."
I was really hesitant over virtual because I'm not strong in technology. So I also was really hesitant to even try something virtual. Johnny picked up the phone and knew exactly what to do. Like, I am glad we went virtual because I didn't have to drive him there. I didn't have to, wait around. I didn't have to, once I went virtual, my whole life got better.
I have not heard that from a parent. That's so cool. That actually makes sense, right? Like not having to drive 30 minutes for a lesson and then, have to schedule that out with the coach who's unorganized and like, are we meeting this weekend? Oh no, okay, I guess he's not getting better. So yeah, that's awesome. All right, let's wrap up here with anything else you'd like to share. Maybe anything that when you think about Johnny and I working together hits the mind, or just that hopefully the impact Backstop Built was able to have on Johnny's career as a catcher. Anything else you'd like? Any last words?
I was amazed at how we could use this program 24 hours a day. We had so much freedom in using this program every day. It worked with our family, it worked with our schedule, it worked in the summer, it worked in the winter. We had more flexibility in training for our life and for our kid that I am actually grateful I signed up for a virtual program that gave my son access 24 hours a day. That was one of the biggest blessings I didn't see coming. I I didn't have to, drive him an hour away. I didn't have to call or text, make sure we were on the schedule. I didn't have to get off work early. And Johnny felt comfortable in our space of our home to redo the videos, try it again, send it to Brock. It really benefited our life going virtual for training.
I'm glad. I appreciate that. And Johnny will forever have his name etched in the program. Again, he is one of the like kids I think about when who's like an OG, just like one of the original. And I just love the updates from him always going forward. And I appreciate you too as his mom giving me all the context because what I love doing is like being in these kids' corners for the rest of their career. That's what I want. Like we worked for 6 months, but going forward, like I always want to hear how good they're doing. And I just want to thank you, Kristen, because without you supporting him as mom and kind of going on that very first call with me to learn about what the program was before you got in, thank you for taking a chance on me and on Backstop Built. And I mean it was just such a blessing from my point of view, so thank you.
Thank you. It's been a huge blessing to our family. Thank you so much for doing this.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, guys, you heard it firsthand from Kristen Goodman. This was a long time coming. And I'm just so glad we're able to get this in. And I really do appreciate your time. Busy mom, multiple kids. I totally get it. So thank you for coming on to do this. I'm sure she wouldn't be here if she didn't really believe in what we did. And it's funny because you guys can take the same first step that she did with Johnny, like we talked about, and that's booking a strategy call. Okay. There's going to be a link in the description below. This is where you can literally get on a Zoom call with you, me, and a parent, or if you're a parent watching this, you, me, and your son. And we're just going to go over where he is, where he wants to go, what he's doing for his training. And if I feel like he's the right fit for the type of player we help, someone just like Johnny, then we will go ahead and show you exactly what a day in the life of the program looks like, the time commitment, financial commitment, everything like that. But it all starts with you just booking a call, finding a time that works out. And that's what Kristen did with Johnny. And then that's where the skepticism came in and they got over that hump, got in the program, and now they're happy with it all. So go ahead and do that. Please also like this video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss another valuable piece of either a interview I do with my players or just more content I post. So, Kristen, again, I can't thank you guys enough. I appreciate Johnny so much. Such a blessing he came into the program, and I can't wait to see where he goes in the rest of his career.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being a part of it.